this was really one of the hot, newly listed companies, right? Unlike Uber and Lyft, we saw Slack, its reference price was 26, went all the way up to 42, and since then, it's really been on a free fall to the downside. What are you expecting to hear from the company tonight?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think investors are really going to be looking for what impact has Microsoft had on the dynamic here, right? Because you have to put yourself in Microsoft's shoes. The success that Slack has been getting, and especially within tech and tech-forward companies, actually threatens a little bit of the core of what Microsoft does, right? Because people are spending less time on Outlook, and that's a big part of their business. And that's, I think, why you've seen Microsoft's messaging around Teams and around their daily active users get so aggressive. So I think any commentary, if there's been any changes in the competitive dynamics and sales cycles from Slack's perspective, I think that's number one of what people are looking for. And then number two, investors just want to see that there's signs of kind of a stabilization in revenue growth, that we're not seeing kind of continued deceleration.
Forgive me, but I don't understand why there's so much obsession with Microsoft and Teams as it relates to the growth possibilities for Slack. I mean, just the fact that Microsoft has a competing product that may or may not have more daily active users than Slack does, are they suggesting then that companies will choose Microsoft over Slack simply because of that? Or I don't understand.
I mean, I totally agree with you.
If it's a good product, the company's going to take it, right?
I fully agree with you, and it's a huge market. I think what Microsoft is happening is it's the good enough effect, where investors are worried when you're paying a multiple as high as Slack trades at, that maybe at one point in time, Teams could become good enough that it threatens a future growth prospects. Not that anyone's switching from Slack over to Teams, but down the line, does this make it harder for Slack to get into new companies? That's what I think people are worried about. But I agree with you. I think people are misreading the situation and overly concerned about Microsoft. Slack
is currently unprofitable. When do you think that changes? And is that something that management will discuss tonight?
I wouldn't expect them to discuss that tonight, but my take on Slack is, and we've seen this with Uber and Lyft and everything, is it's less about profitability today and more, is there a clear and distinct path to profitability? And I think Slack has very clearly demonstrated that. They've got really high gross margins, they've got really strong sales efficiency, strong expansion rates. So all those pieces are in place, and I think investors understand there's that path to profitability.
Quickly, you think the story would have been different had they gone the IPO route versus a direct listing?
It's a tricky question, but I think with the IPO route, maybe you'd have less of this confusion around why do people use Slack? Is Teams really good enough?
That's why you have a roadshow.
I would agree.